Now, the third test match between Australia and Pakistan has begun today, and the one topic that was doing the rounds when the series began has popped up once again. And rightfully so. David Warner's farewell to Test cricket. The Aussie captain is calling it the Warner Week. There is some sense of nostalgia. He has been the face of Australian cricket for a while now. And the double whammy came some days ago when Warner said he was also bidding ODI cricket farewell. Though he's kept the option open when Champions Trophy comes around, but that's in 2025. Warner has undoubtedly been a colossal figure across all formats. The pocket-sized dynamo has dominated bowling attacks. In him, we saw the perfect combination of elegance and aggression. And one word clearly left a mark on some of his teammates as well. In fact, Pat Cummins, the current captain, said, "Warner Week has started. I think he's our greatest three-form player. 3 formats over a decade, 2 50-over World Cups, 1 T20 World Cup. And in all of those campaigns, he was front and center, and a big reason for it. Every time he walks out there, he's competitive, ready to go. So just a champion of Australian sport, and hopefully he gets a good send-off this week." But let's get the numbers out of the way first. Warner has been a true batting genius who stamped his class across tests and ODIs. In test matches, Warner was unstoppable. His highest score has been an unbeatable 335. That trademark jump in the air to celebrate 100 is a phenomena that makes the sport so much more spectacular. A tradition, in fact, almost at every Aussie match. He was just as prolific in ODI cricket too, though for the art and the skills, you'd think he would have notched up more hundreds. But the point was never the milestones with Warner. It was the journey, the big hits and the flair in batting. Putting pressure on the opponent was more paramount instead of getting to triple figures consistently. The character that is Warner, the manner seemed to stand out more than the end result. You cannot speak about Warner, unfortunately, without speaking of his flaws, and flawed he was. Warner has always been a bullish character. Maybe that's the Aussie-ness in him. You did feel a sense of familiarity with Warner's rowdiness. David Warner has been in the middle of a long line of controversies that he has continually flirted with all through his career. His famous run-in with Quinton de Kock in 2013 outside the cricket field, for which he was fined, comes to mind instantly, but this was predictable. There were 2 hot-headed people out there involved in this particular exchange. The same year, Warner was fined for an outburst on Twitter, now X. He went on a rant against journalists during the Indian Premier League that he plays in. He was upset about a particular picture that was used in an article published, and he went on to abuse the journalists online. He, of course, later apologized for his brash behavior. There was also the audaciousness of it when Warner decided to skip a grade match to attend a horse race. He received a 1-match suspension for this. The point is not the significance of the game or the occasion. It was but a grade match. But the larger issue is Warner thinking he could get away with it all. The most famous altercation, of course, was with England's Joe Root. He punched Root in a bar in Birmingham in 2023. Warner, of course, pleaded guilty for unbecoming behavior, for which he was fined as well. No one can quite forget Sandpaper Gate. Everyone knows what went down in Cape Town in 2018. It resulted in Warner and Steve Smith, the vice captain and captain, respectively, getting suspended for a year. They did come back, of course, and much stronger for most part, but irreparable damage had already been done to the sport and to its players. The complexity that Warner has represented has not been lost on his fellow Aussie cricketers, like former captain Michael Clarke. While speaking to a cricket digital website, this is what he said.
"Davey has always been a tough character, someone I loved having in the team. That intent, that aggressive approach. But he was the same off the field, a little bull, and got into a little bit of trouble along the way. But I think he had a lot of support and help from certainly senior players and Cricket Australia that helped him not have his contract ripped up. There was a bit of fight to keep him because he was so important to the team."
We know of geniuses in sport who have a certain streak about them, whether it is David Warner or Novak Djokovic, Mike Tyson or John McEnroe. They are incredibly skilled, a threat to any opposition, but some of their tenacity just rubbed people the wrong way. Warner, of course, has a lot to look forward to in the shortest format. He was just announced as skipper of the Dubai Capitals, the franchise that is also co-owned by the Indian Premier League Delhi franchise owners. He has led the Sunrisers Hyderabad in the IPL to a successful title win. But somehow that honeymoon period did not last too long either, with Warner revealing on social media recently that he was blocked by the very franchise he took to victory. He tries his best to be endearing now and then, with his on-field antics imitating Indian movie stars and making his social media presence cater to the Indian masses. He interacts with fans a lot, and recently he even put out a video.
They've got some blind spots apparently. We spoke to the Key West Hotel, who we absolutely trust and have gone through their cameras. No one's came into our rooms. But unfortunately, someone has taken my backpack out of my actual luggage, which had my backpack and my girl's presents in there. Inside this backpack was my baggy greens. That's sentimental to me. It's something that I would love to have back in my hands, walking out there coming this week. If it's the backpack that you really wanted, I have a spare one here. You won't get into trouble. Please reach out to Cricket Australia or myself via my social media.
Quite a cute one, that, but it got a lot of engagement going, with some sympathizing with him and a few others trolling him. But that's the thing about Warner. There still is that edge to him that makes many appreciate him, no doubt, but from a safe distance. There will be few who would like to see the back of him for sure. Whether that is with grudging respect or simply a long-standing grudge, well, we can't really tell.